Okay, lights, candles, action. Welcome. Welcome everybody. It's a small but powerful crowd. So this is the second Sunday of the month in which we have for, a pretty long time now been doing the universal worship service on a second Sunday. How many years have we been doing this?
Now the time we did it after the main service.
Right.
It's been probably
15 years, yeah. We did it for a couple years as like a supernumerary service. If you just hadn't had enough, you could stay for the universal worship, and then it became the main event. Yeah, Sally Jo was here every time. Welcome. So we're going to start as we often do by inviting in the ancestors. So I'd like to invite George.
Well, good morning. And this morning I have the honor to perform one of our traditions, and that is to welcome in our ancestors. And all of us have some ones that we look to for our guidance, for our comfort. And we'd like to have them join us here today in our service. So if you take a minute now and just relax, close your eyes if you will, but try to bring into your consciousness someone or some ones who've been an inspiration to you, a teacher, a guide, someone you'd like to have with us today in this beautiful celebration and this service of ours today. Thank you. And so for whoever you brought into mind, welcome. And thank you for being with us today. Another one of our traditions is to honor and respect the people who came before us, the first peoples here, and doing a land acknowledgement, recognizing the fact that, where we are today, where this very building is on the ancestral home of the Coast Salish peoples, who were the stewards of this land long before we came here. We want to give thanks to them. And in particular, the Duwamish tribe, we talk about this here all the time, but something to keep in mind is that they are still a functioning tribe, not recognized by the federal government, but intact and doing their thing. And we support them in a modest way here each month. So we'd like to always try to be mindful of the fact that we are on unceded land, in effect. And you can find out more about them by going online to, I think it is realrentduwamish.org. But if you just simply type in Duwamish, it'll get you to one of the sites that you can become more acquainted with them. So thank you.
And also, we like to, towards the beginning of each service, make an offering for the Divine Feminine. So we'd like to do that now.
Good morning. As we have welcomed our ancestors, we also offer an honoring to the Divine Feminine. Divine Mother, embodiment of mercy and compassion. Enfold us in your protective cloak as we dare to take in the pain of the world. Give us the courage and the strength to drop our preconceptions and step onto the field of global strife, armed with the flaming arrow of unconditional love.
Thank you. So we are live streaming this service. So I'd like to point out to the people online that you can donate to this this location and this effort and this community, and we welcome you as a part of this community. If we've never seen you in the flesh, come on down sometime, and you can donate to this community at our website. I hope there's a link to it from the YouTube. Yes, there is. And there's a prominently displayed Donate Now button, which you can, you all know how to do that. And this is a, we really do operate on a shoestring, but you know, there needs to be the shoestring. So anything you can give really does help and goes directly to very necessary and concrete things that need to happen to keep us afloat. Thank you. We wanted to pause for looking into the future. Things happen here all the time in this building. Almost every day there's some kind of lovely blossoming of humanity happening here, and pretty much all public things people can join in on. Look at our website. Everything is put down in some sort of chronological and thematic fashion, however you want to dive into it. Just as a quick survey, today's Sunday. Do we have anything happening the rest of the day? No, there's not a regular thing. Tomorrow is Monday. Monday nights we have the Mevlevi Sufis meet here and do a practice of movement and chanting. That is, it's really about achieving a kind of a communal state of ecstasy, and that's ecstasy is. Sometimes gets a bad rap or gets sort of reified in an odd way. Ecstasy is fuel for the path. Ecstasy is what we, it's like turning the flame up and cooking ourselves. The question then is who gets to eat you? But that's a question for another day. Anyway, that's Mondays. Come on down. Tuesday, we have sometimes the Sasiwis. No, Sasiwis is on Wednesday? Tuesday. Yes, and one Wednesday a month. Anyway, it's on the website. We have Course in Miracles here as well, sometimes online, sometimes meeting in person. Check the website. Thursday, we have Sitting in Silence, which is exactly what it sounds like. Come here, sit in silence with other people. It's simple and profound. That is run by our friend George, facilitated by our friend George. Fridays, it's still online, but we have Islamic congregational prayer. And it used to be live in person, now it's online because over the pandemic times, we picked up a crowd from all different places around the world. So, yes.
I talked to Anna, I think it was last week, and she was saying that she is making plans to try and make it hybrid, where once a year would be both live and online. So inshallah, that will happen. If you're interested in doing it right now, as I said, it is online. Usually the communications for it are through the WhatsApp app. So I'm not sure who you would contact here, if you would contact Ann, to get placed on the list.
Okay. Yes.
I'd like to make a special event.
Yeah, grab a mic.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Sally Joe, and we are doing an event in conjunction with a couple of other organizations, Northwest Interfaith and St. Joseph's Parish, and this is our Interfaith Dinner with Others. Now, we had round one of Dinner with Others here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary about a month ago, and this is round two, where we're going to go deeper with some new questions and hopefully some new people to join us, and we're doing it in a different location. So we're trying to move around the city to different houses of worship to encourage other people to join us. And this will be at St. Joseph Parish on Capitol Hill, and it will be on Saturday, October 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. There's a free vegetarian dinner provided. Well, we do ask a $5 registration fee when you register, just so we can know how many people are coming, so we provide the right amount of food, because we do buy the food. But I mean, it's a really nice time to get together for some deep listening and some heartfelt sharing. And there is a flyer up here with the excuse me, with the link and where to register. And I'm looking for table hosts, people who will be kind of the person at the table who helps direct the questions and, kind of knows the protocol that we follow, so that everybody gets a chance to answer a question, a different question from one everybody else answered, and everybody else gets to listen and ponder. And then after everybody's answered a question, there's a time for some more open conversation. So I had a good group of table hosts last time. You can do that again, or if you came but you would like to be a host, or if you haven't come, let me know and I'll write your name down, because we're hoping to have, we have enough room for 60 people. We got 35 or so when we came here, so we'd like to expand it a little bit. So please join us if you can. We'd love to have you. And I also wanted to mention real quickly that Jamal Rahman, who couldn't be here today, he's at another group giving a talk today, but he asked me to mention that he's starting a new class, Living a Spiritual Life in a Mundane World, and that will be Saturday mornings, also on Zoom, from 10 to noon, starting next Saturday, October 19th. So if you'd like to register for that, you can pick up a flyer and let me know, and I'll put you on the list and tell you a little more about it. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to do a ritual that we've been doing for 15 years, apparently, of the universal worship, and I wanted to touch in briefly about our theme for this year and this month, because what we do in the universal worship is often we draw passages from scriptures, from various traditions around a theme, and try and let those, just like the candles, let the wisdom of those traditions illuminate each other. And there's and try and really get a sense of the one light shining through the different traditions. And today we're talking about concentration. We started this last month, particularly about concentration on the breath. And we're going to talk about the whole concept of and practice of concentration today. And we're going to also breathe. So I want to read this passage from Anaya Khan, which is going to come up later in the service, but I thought it was good I wanted to read it to just kind of get us in the groove. The entire universe in all its activity has been created through the concentration of God. Every being in the world is occupied, consciously or unconsciously, in some act of concentration. You're doing it right now. Good and evil alike are the result of concentration. The stronger the concentration, the greater the result. Lack of concentration is the cause of failure in all things. So if you ever wondered why something failed, now you know. For this world and the other, For material as well as spiritual progress, concentration is most essential. The power of will is much greater than the power of action, but action is the final necessity for the fulfillment of the will. Perfection is reached by the regular practice of concentration. So, on one hand, this is saying something really obvious, that, things don't happen unless the material needs for them to happen get together to actually do the thing. This is true of our anything that we intend, anything that we will, anything that we desire. We need to get our efforts together and focus them in order to actually accomplish something. That's obvious. What we're going to be talking about is on a little bit higher level than that, or a more concentrated level, about about concentration as a spiritual practice, where the goal is not merely to accomplish something, to focus on something and accomplish it. The goal is to use the human faculty of concentration to get to the next step in our capacity as human beings. And we're gonna get into that really soon, but first we're all gonna stand up, if you're comfortable standing, and say the invocation together. Towards the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. Please be seated.
To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing the religion of Hinduism. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing the spirit of Buddhism. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing Zoroastrianism. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing the religion of Taoism. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing the traditions and symbols of indigenous people throughout the world. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing the religion of Judaism. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing the religion of Christianity. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing the religion of Islam. To the glory of the omnipresent God, we kindle this light, symbolically representing all those, whether known or unknown, who have held aloft the light in a world of ignorance.
let's please stand with me if you desire. And let's say the first prayer, which I'm blanking on. Somebody read me the first line. Praise be to thee, most supreme God, omnipotent, omnipresent, all-pervading, the only being. Take us in thy parental arms, raise us from the denseness of the earth. Thy beauty do we worship, to thee do we give willing surrender. Most merciful and compassionate God, the idealized Lord of the whole humanity, thee only do we worship, and towards thee alone do we aspire. Open our hearts towards thy beauty. Illuminate our souls with divine light. O thou, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, all-powerful sustainer and judge of our shortcomings, and of the West, of the worlds above and below, and of the seen and unseen beings. Pour upon us thy love and thy light. Give sustenance to our bodies, hearts, and souls. Use us for the purpose that thy wisdom chooses, and guide us on the path of thine own goodness. Draw us closer to thee every moment of our life, until in us be reflected thy grace, thy glory, thy wisdom, thy joy, and thy peace. Amen. Please be seated. I'm a little spacey this morning, and we're going to do breath practices, so it's not going to get better. Just saying.
You're not the only one, brother.
Oh, yeah.
When the knife of the fixed mind, whetted by breath control, sharpened on the stone of renunciation, has cut through the weave of life, the adept is forever released from his bonds. Freed from all desire, he becomes immortal. Delivered from temptations, having cut through the toil of existence, he is no longer in samsara. From the Kushrika Upanishad, we offer to thee, omniscient God, our homage, our reverence, and our gratitude for the light of the divine wisdom. But what noble lady?
Wait. Let's.
You like to do it that way.
Yeah. We're going to comment on this a little bit. This is from the Upanishad, and this first sentence is kind of amazing. It's like the whole spiritual path is right here. What's doing that? Okay, so mine's on. Mine's still on. Okay. That was a new element. Okay, so the first sentence of this really kind of encapsulates a lot. When the knife of the fixed mind, whetted by breath control, whetted meaning sharpened, sharpened on the stone of renunciation, has cut through the weave of life. So our mind cuts through the weave, the network, the Maya, all of this stuff that seems so real. Our mind cuts through it and can see what's behind it, essentially. That is, that is so this is the whole yogic idea that the world, the way the world is constructed, the net of Indra, the amazing lattice of lights that is the world we perceive and live in, is a kind of, is so overwhelming to our mind and our senses that we're sort of trapped in it. We're trapped in it by, because it's so beautiful, really. But there's more to life, there's more to reality, and if we can see beyond that level of Maya, that level of sort of dream, that sort of way we've constructed the world in our heads, then we're not trapped anymore. It doesn't disappear. It's still there. It's got its own reality. The world is still there. But if we can get beyond it, then we're not trapped. And concentration is the door through which we can do this. And this isn't just the yogic tradition, as we'll see. This is just the way human beings work. It comes up in every tradition. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali say, concentration is directing the mind to a specific point. So that's all we're talking about, is focusing the mind on one thing. I have a couple different translations here. Concentration is the steadfastness of the mind. That's another translation of the same thing. So all it is keeping the mind in one place. The way our minds work, as we all experience, this stuff just kind of rises up in your mind and then falls away. It's like waves, of thought and image and, all the things that can be the contents of your mind. But it kind of comes up on waves. It seems to come from nowhere and it goes nowhere. Concentration is bringing the focus of the mind, using your will, using your intention, bringing the focus of the mind into one thing. In a sense, Patanjali says, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. But it's recommended in most traditions to focus on some kind of ideal that is meaningful to you, like God in many traditions. And the idea is that every wave as it comes up focuses on that one thing. If you're focusing on the image of say Krishna, you're tuning into that vibration of Krishna. I mean, it could be tuning into your heart, could be tuning into the Christ mind, but let's say Krishna because we're still in Hinduism. Then that image of Krishna comes up and goes away, and the next image comes up and it's still Krishna. And you can get to the point where the thing that keeps coming up is just Krishna over and over again. And what can happen is that if you stay with that, your self-consciousness disappears, and all that is left is the object of concentration. This is what's called samadhi in the yogic tradition. Concentration leads to meditation, leads to samadhi. Samadhi is union with the object of concentration. But it's that place where you disappear and the thing you have been concentrating on is the only thing in the universe. It is the universe. It suffuses your entire being. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about concentration. And this is, this is something we are all capable of. Yeah, let's keep going.
But what, noble lady, is concentration? What are the causes of concentration? What are the accessories to concentration? What is the development of concentration? Whatever is one pointedness of mind, friend Visakha, that is concentration. The 4 ways of attending to mindfulness are the causes of concentration. The 4 right endeavors are the accessories to concentration. Whatever repetition of these things there is, their development, being made much of, this is the development of concentration herein. From the Majjhima Nikaya, we offer to Thee, omniscient God, our reverence, our homage, and our gratitude for the light of the divine compassion.
So let's do a practice. Let's do a really short practice, like for 1 minute. And the practice is breathe in and out on a count of 4. I'm not going to count. Do it on what's comfortable. You want to breathe naturally, but just do it on a count of 4 as you breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you breathe out. 1. At your own pace. We're only going to do it for, say, a minute. Okay. How many people did that to the beat of the clock? I'm just curious. Anybody else? Huh. I just harmonize with, if I hear a beat, I just go with it, you know. Okay. So this is another like little, from the Buddhist scripture, this sutra. It's sort of a, again, what is concentration? Whatever is one-pointedness of mind, you know, focusing on one thing. It wouldn't seem like this would be the gateway to enlightenment and immortality, but this is what we are told. Check it out. Whatever is one-pointedness of mind, that is concentration. The 4 ways of attending to mindfulness are the causes of concentration. The 4 right endeavors are the accessories of concentration. This is Buddhism, so there's like extensive list of like this, which I'm not going to get into. But actually the 4 right endeavors, what else did they translate that as? Sometimes the 4 right efforts, but those are basically, what are the effects of concentration? There's 4 that one is, it's pleasurable. The, you know, what are the goals? What are we trying for? Right endeavors. It's pleasurable. That's the first one. It feels good in your body to do this. If you do this kind of concentration, and you're aware and alert and in your body, there's a kind of just blissful, pleasurable feeling that sort of naturally just kind of blossoms in every cell of your body. So it feels good. That's a good thing. It creates enhanced capacity for perception and knowledge basically your mind and your perceptions are clearer, and you can see things you couldn't see before. I mean, people, this can get pretty esoteric, but on a basic level, it's just obvious, You clear your mind, and, it's just like wiping your glasses. The third one is, I can't remember the third one. The fourth one is enlightenment. I know that. I think the third one is developing intuitive skills. Where you begin to be able to look at things and see them directly rather than through the filter of your mind. You're able to look at things and see their essence directly. And well, I don't want to get too far off on that. Again, that's like something we all experience frequently, but it can be our normal experience. I do want to say one more thing before we, sorry. We create our world. I don't mean in some kind of new age, this is all a creation. I mean, that's true, but that's not what I'm talking about. But we clearly, we make choices and we create our world and we create who we want to be in this world, and we build a life. Now, it's kind of like that's both what we do, the life that we build out of our understanding as well as our physical actions is a support for a good life. We want to be happy, we want to live a good life, we do what we can to make that move forward, right? The problem is, the best that we can do is always kind of our cutting edge. It's our obstacle. In Sufism, they say your viewpoint, your maqam, your viewpoint is your veil. The highest level of understanding about life that you have is the thing that needs to be destroyed so you can get to the next place. So the edge there is always, it's always tearing down in a way the thing that is most valuable to you. This is why we can't get stuck in our conceptions, because then we really will be stuck. It's like if you're in you ever been in like a hedge maze? Or you're just a maze with walls. It's like you were in a maze where the walls went like right above your eye level. So you're like walking around in the maze trying to find your way out, and all you'd have to do is stand on your tiptoes, and get your eyes a little bit above that, and you'd see the whole map. And then you could just, walk where you wanted to go. And it's just like that. It's like, this is what we're talking about with meditation. Meditation is not a continuation of the same kind of consciousness. It's moving in a different direction. It's moving in a different dimension. And it's so simple that it's hard to talk about. It's as simple as changing from just like being stuck in the horizontal maze to just like moving a little bit vertically, and you have a whole different picture. So that's just a metaphor for the shift that can happen if we learn to concentrate. Thank you.
You're welcome.
From the Zoroastrian tradition, Give me bliss, make me far-seeing, and reveal to me your incomparable gifts. Your power and the blessings of the pure mind, O holy right-mindedness. Teach us clearly as to how truth guides our way of thinking. From the Yasna. We offer to thee, omniscient God, our homage, our reverence, and our gratitude for the light of the divine purity.
So let's do another breath practice. This time, we're just going to breathe in and out of the heart center in the middle of the chest. So just breathe naturally in and out of the heart, just for a minute. Okay. So the Zoroastrian tradition is probably the hardest one for us to relate to in many ways. It's the oldest tradition that we deal with, at least in terms of the scriptures that we read. And but I wanted to draw a connection here because the word in this passage that is used for right-mindedness, O holy right-mindedness, teach us clearly as to how truth guides our way of thinking, is this word dhyana in Avestan. It's the same word as jhana in Hinduism and Buddhism, or dhyana in I forget which is Pali and which is Sanskrit. But this becomes the word Zen in Japanese, and it's the word for meditation. So this is I just wanted to point out that these same themes come up. Give me bliss, make me far-seeing. These are two of the benefits of concentration that I just mentioned in Buddhism. And they have the same list in Hinduism, actually. Give me bliss, make me far-seeing, reveal to me your incomparable gifts, your power and the blessings of the pure mind. O holy right-mindedness. This is a personalization of the state of meditation. Teach us clearly. So, yeah, this is a unified tradition, even if it's reflected through all these different lenses. Let's move.
From the religion of Taoism. The way of great learning consists in manifesting one's bright virtue, consists in loving people, consists in stopping in perfect goodness. When you know where to stop, you have stability. When you have stability, you can be tranquil. When you are tranquil, you can be at ease. When you are at ease, you can be deliberate. When you can deliberate, you can attain your aims. Things have their roots and branches. Affairs have their end and beginning. When you know what comes first and what comes last, then you are near the way. From the Great Learning. We offer to the omniscient God our homage, our reverence, and our gratitude for the light of the divine way.
So let's do another breath practice. This time, breathe in the third eye. Breathe into the third eye, the head center. Just, feel it between your eyebrows, basically, maybe a couple inches in to your skull. Just breathe into there. You'll feel where that is for you. Breathe in the third eye and breathe out of the heart. Okay, let's just do that for a minute. Okay. So this is from the Great Learning. The Great Learning is usually regarded as a Confucianist scripture or writing. They used to blame Confucius for writing it. Now they blame somebody else. I can't remember his name. But it's basic to the Chinese tradition. And it has this very common in classical Chinese structure of when you have this, then you have this. When you have that, then you have this. When you have that, then you have this. So there's a kind of a really linear stair-stepping that shows you the process. And this is the same process that we've been talking about. When you know where to stop, you have stability. Stopping, where you know where to stop is where you're landing on, is where you're making a decision. When you land on something and you know how to stop there, then you have stability. The word for stability is what we're calling concentration, being able to stay with one thing. That's what they're talking about. When you have stability, you can be tranquil. Same thing. This practice of concentration leads to a quieting of the mind and a quieting of the whole being, really, so that you're in a different place. You're not being attracted to, you're not being pulled this way and that. You're centered. You're in yourself in a centered place. This is tranquility. You get there through concentration. When you have tranquility, you can be at ease. What they're translating as to be at ease here is really about safety, about feeling safe, feeling secure, being in a place of no fear. So that's the sequence. You focus on something, you attain this stability of concentration that calms everything down. All the all of our stuff. It calms it all down. And then you can be in a place of no fear. This is very practical stuff. When you are in a place of no fear, or as they say here, when you are at ease, you can deliberate. When you are in a place of no fear, you can exercise decisive will. You can put your intention forward without conflict, without obstacle, because you're seeing the world clearly and you're acting in a clear way. When you can exercise decisive will, you can be in harmony with the cosmos. You can be, as they say in this tradition, on the way. You can be in harmony with the Tao. You can, well, here they translate it as, you can attain your aims. But they don't just mean, the things you're trying to do in your life. They mean the ultimate aim of the spiritual path. So it's remarkable. We find the same sequence in all of these different traditions. So that, we're identifying a way that human beings work here. This is how the human system, this is how you hack the system. Okay. Oh wait, let's do another breath practice first.
Thank you for doing that before I got up.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we're just going to breathe, and we're going to try to make our breath as soft and subtle as possible. Almost like there's no air moving back and forth at all. Just feel into the real subtlety of the breath and make your breathing very, very soft. Just for a minute. Okay.
From the indigenous traditions, spirituality is meditation. It is from this focus of the spirit that all health comes. There is only one great spirit. It is the soul, the one who heals, the great spirit, the divine. It is the Chimahua. I merge with Chimwaha so he can help me to help the ill person. Grandfather Kachora of the Yaqui Lacandon Maya. We offer to thee, omniscient God, our reverence, our homage, and our gratitude for the light of the divine reconciliation.
So I don't have a lot to say about this one other than I want to point out the commonality, and I want to point out this line. This is from the perspective of a healer. So this is not like a meditation teacher as such talking. This is from a very practical standpoint. And he says, it is from this focus of the spirit that all health comes. So he's talking about concentration. He's talking about focusing the spirit, and that this is the source of all healing. And again, what does it lead to? What does the focus, the concentration leads to? It leads to unity with the divine. And this is the living from a place, as much as we can, living from a place of unity with the divine is it's like, on a simple level, it's like binocular vision. You have one eye that sees the world in all its division and beauty, and you have one eye that sees unity. And there's more than one dimension opens up from this. This is part of our capacity as human beings to hold these completely, in a sense, by the mind sense, irreconcilable viewpoints in one being and one experience. It's not just fulfilling our potential, it's a service. It's a service for the entire universe. If even one human being can do this for a breath, it's of great benefit to the world. So there's worse goals to have in your life than to live like this, in unison with the divine. Let's do a practice of maybe we'll do a breath practice. So this time, we're just going to breathe in a natural way and tune into the energy of the breath. This is, what they call qi in the Chinese tradition, or prana in the yogic tradition. The subtle energy of the breath. There's subtler energies of the breath, but just tune into the life force, the vitality, not the air, the electricity of it. Okay, just for a minute. And feel that vitality, that life force, that electricity, that energy in every cell of your body. Just feel it suffuse your physical body and your electromagnetic field, the field of energy around your body. Just feel it suffused with the energy of breath. Okay, where are we at?
We're moving right into Judaism.
Oh, let's do that.
From the Jewish tradition, what is to be understood by concentration of the mind? The mind should be freed from all extraneous thoughts and the one who prays should realize that he is standing before the divine presence. He should therefore sit a while before beginning his prayers, so as to concentrate his mind, and then pray in gentle tones, beseechingly, and not regard the service as a burden which he is carrying and which he will cast off and proceed on his way. He should accordingly also sit a while after, including the prayers, and then leave. The ancient saints were wont to pause and meditate 1 hour before the service, 1 hour after the service, and take 1 hour in its recital. Maimonides from the Mishnah Torah. We offer to thee, omniscient God, our homage, our reverence, and our gratitude for the light of the divine covenant.
So can you imagine if we all came in an hour before this and just sat here and concentrated and then did the service, and then when it was over we all just sat here for another hour? It's not likely we're going to work that into our lives, but you can imagine that it would have an effect. You know, that if you put that amount of time into it, you would really get something out of it. Yeah, it's interesting to think why we don't do that, you know. It's so easy to be overwhelmed with the rush of life, which I think we're challenged more than any other generation of human beings, and it's probably not going to get better anytime soon that way. Which is, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just acknowledging that we're really up against it in terms of the, our minds are constantly being inundated with, data points, and our connection to our electronics. I'm not decrying it or anything, but it's got a very particular effect, and it takes us out of our center. It becomes this sort of disembodied state becomes our norm. And the spiritual path is embodied. It's about even some of these paths that we think of as, focused on transcendence and getting out of the body, and that's correcting an imbalance. Where the end of the path, walking an enlightened path, being in tune with the way, being in tune with the universe, involves being fully in your body and alert. Not alert in a fearful way, alert in an alive way. This sense that happens, when you're able to just stand on your tiptoes a little bit and get a different view of things, it's enlivening. It's like waking up after being asleep, and we've all experienced this, I know. It's just a question of not just experiencing it in flashes or here and there through the day, but like living there, feeling supported there. The thing that when we start talking, we're getting into Judaism, and he's talking about concentration on the presence of God. Now, this is kind of a different thing. This is not absent in the earlier traditions, but we just haven't talked about this sense that kind of introduces love into the equation. That you are in the presence of the beloved. This is this is a devotional kind of experience. They have this in Hinduism and Buddhism and Zoroastrianism as well. But it really starts coming into play in the Abrahamic religions, this sense of relationship, this sense of relating to God as a person, you know, having because we're human beings. This is how we're constructed for relationship. So having this sense of relationship and a bond of love with the divine is incredibly powerful if we're able to live there. Let's do a breath practice before we move on. And let's just, again, just breathe into and out of the heart. And, you know, you can go deep into your heart and reach a place that is not personal. I mean, personal in terms of being us as an individual. You know, we're all connected through the heart. So just breathe in and out of the heart and into a place that is larger than yourself, than just you as an individual. Connect to a place that is that's connected with everything else, and that's easy to find in your heart. So let's just breathe in and out of the heart and feel that connection, that presence. Does it seem longer than a minute? No? Seems like about a minute? All right.
It's kind of weird. When you began the practices, it seemed much longer than a minute, and now it's like it's over already. So
Yeah, it's you know, doing concentration practices can change your experience of time really drastically.
from the Christian tradition, imagine that this Lord himself is at your side, and see how lovingly and how humbly he is teaching you. And believe me, you should stay with so good a friend for as long as you can before you leave him. If you become accustomed to having him at your side, and if he sees that you love him to be there and are always trying to please him, you will never be able, as we put it, to send him away, nor will he ever fail you. He will help you in all of your trials, and you will have him everywhere. Do you think it is a small thing to have such a friend as that beside you? Oh, sisters, those of you whose minds cannot reason for long, or whose thoughts cannot dwell upon God, but are occasionally wondering, must at all costs form this habit. I know quite well that you are capable of it. For many years, I endured this trial of being unable to concentrate on one subject and a very sore trial it is. But I know the Lord does not leave us so devoid of help that if we approach him humbly and ask him to be with us, he will not grant our request. Saint Teresa of Avila, The Way of Perfection.
We offer to thee.
I am so sorry. We offer to the omniscient God our reverence, our homage, and our gratitude for the light of the divine self-sacrifice.
So again, this is this practice of in the Christian tradition, this is called the practice of the presence of God. Saint Teresa calls this the prayer of recollection. And it's a concentration practice. It's a concentration on the presence of God, just being constantly conscious with every breath of the presence of the divine. You know, in Saint Teresa's case, she's talking about the presence of Jesus. You know, this is her focus. This is all the focus of her attention. And again, this is so powerful for two reasons. One, because it brings love into the equation. You know, it's like falling in love. You don't have to make yourself think about someone you're in love with. You know, it just happens. So it's like a support for it's kind of silly to talk about it that way, but it's a support for your practice, you know. And there's also the sense that you're not just, it's not a one-way thing. There's a mutuality about it. You are focusing on the presence of God, and the presence of God is focusing on you. You know, you're calling that relationship into manifestation, into experience, into embodiment. The cosmos, the thing that created us, is not a cold, dark emptiness. You know, it's the fountain of everything good. And it's the most natural thing that we can do to love that, and it's the most natural thing that the universe can do to love us. And living in that, and there's really no difference. This is the other thing. If we're able to keep this concentration for a while, if we're able to live in that groove, there's no difference between our love for God and God's love for us. The distinction disappears. One amplifies the other to the point where they are just, there's just the presence. So let's do a breath practice. Let's just breathe. Let's just breathe into our hearts again, but just feel the presence of love. It doesn't have to be love for anything. We all know what it feels like to be in love. We all know what it feels like to love. Just let your breath fuel. Let your breath be like the fire that heats up the love in your heart. Okay? Just for a minute. You know, the more we do these practices, the more you want to stay there, right? It's like, why does he keep ringing that bell? Okay.
From the religion of Islam. O you who believe, remember Allah with much remembrance. The Quran, Surah 33, verse 41. And he who remembers his Lord and he who does not are like the living and the dead. It's from the Sahih Bukhari and the Sahih Muslim, two hadith collections in Islam. We offer to thee, omniscient God, our reverence, our homage, and our gratitude for the light of the divine unity.
So in Islam, this practice of concentration on the presence of God is called remembrance. It's a practice of remembering. And this is exactly what Saint Teresa called it. She called it the prayer of recollection. And it's not just remembering something that happened in the past. It's pulling things together. You know, things like the members of your body, you know, or the members of a group. You know, you're remembering, you're pulling them together, you're recollecting, you're making the many into one. This is it's exactly like the Hindu tradition we started with. By concentration, you sharpen your attention and your awareness so that you can cut through the web of dream, the web of delusion. I hate to say words like delusion because they sound negative, you know, and I don't want to, but, you know, a dream is a dream. It's different. It's different from. It doesn't have the solidity of a deeper reality. It's beautiful. It's incredibly beautiful. That's how we got here. I think we were like sucked into the beauty, and that's the point of the whole thing. Is really for the world to enjoy the universe through us. And even phrasing it that way, there's too much grammatical separation in there between the parts, but you know, we're using language, so basically it's all metaphor, it's all poetry, anything we say. But this sense of remembering is so important, and we can do it with every breath. This is really what all of the traditions say. You can do this with every breath. You can pull everything into unity. And it's not conceptual. It's not something we do by thinking into it. It's not a practice of inquiry, which is why this tool of concentration works. If we focus on one thing, if we quiet the mind in this way, we can rise above the mind. And the mind is, as I said, it's you know, it's both our glory and our trap. It's and it's so terrible in a way when it is our trapped, when we are trapped in the universe, when we are in, when we feel like we are living in a world of constraint and limitation. And it is so beautiful when we are able to just rise a little bit above that and no longer be constrained. There's a feeling of being liberated. And the world does not disappear. The world's still there. Exactly the same screwed up world that we, left a moment ago. But it's different now. Okay, let's do another practice before we move on. And this time, let's just breathe in and out of our hearts, relaxed, no focus except for breathing in and out of the heart and just feeling the process of breath. But let's do this with our eyes open. Okay? So we're going to have a brief period of silence now. And let's stand for the second prayer, if you like. Most gracious Lord, Master, Messiah, and Savior of humanity, we greet thee with all humility. Thou art the first cause and the last effect, the divine light and the spirit of guidance, Alpha and Omega. Thy light is in all forms, thy love in all beings, in a loving mother, in a kind father, in an innocent child, in a helpful friend, in an inspiring teacher. Allow us to recognize thee in all thy holy names and forms, as Sita and Ram, as Radha and Krishna, as Shiva and Shakti, as Buddha. Let us know thee as Abraham, as Solomon, as Zarathustra, as White Buffalo Calf Woman, as Moses, as Jesus and as Mary, as Mohammed, and in many other names and forms, known and unknown to the world. We adore thy past. Thy presence deeply enlightens our being, and we look for thy blessing in the future. O Messenger, Christ, Nabi, the Rasul of God, thou whose heart constantly reaches upward, thou comest on earth with a message as a dove from above when Dharma decays, and speak the word that is put into thy mouth as the light fills the crescent moon. Let the star of the divine light shining in thy heart be reflected in the hearts of thy devotees. May the message of God reach far and wide, illuminating and making the whole humanity as one single family in the parenthood of God. Amen. Please be seated.
Truth. The entire universe and all its activity has been created through the concentration of God. Every being in the world is occupied consciously or unconsciously in some act of concentration. Good and evil are alike the result of concentration. The stronger the concentration, the greater the result. Lack of concentration is the cause of failure in all things. For this world and the other, where material as well as spiritual progress, concentration is most essential. The power of will is much greater than the power of action, but action is the final necessity for the fulfillment of the will. Perfection is reached by the regular practice of concentration. We offer to Thee, omniscient God, our homage, our reverence, and our gratitude for the light of the divine truth.
So we're running a little late today because we started late, but we'd like to open this up for anyone to share what's in your hearts about what we've been doing or whatever is coming up for you. And yes, the live stream is going off now. Bye.
Bye-bye, La La Land.